Oh, I want to welcome our viewers to a very special podcast. We're here at the Kennesaw happenings. Now, if you look in my background here, you'll see golf. Now, it's not Golfer Pete. I don't know what my name is, but okay, I'm Pete Kane, and we have a very special guest. She's been very instrumental in helping me in a lot of ways in getting gifts to some very special people. So, Erin I've known Erin for quite a few years, but she moved out of the city and she's back in Pennsylvania. But we're going to bring her on the show today because she has something very special that we need to share with our viewers. So, Erin, why don't you tell us tell us about yourself and who you serve and just a general background so people can understand who they're listening to.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on your show. I'm so honored to be here. For your viewers and your listeners, my name is Erin Zwigart, and I am the owner and founder of a company called Georgia Crafted. We are actually an online gift shop where we source and curate products made in the state of Georgia primarily. And all of these products are ones that are made by local makers. So these are going to be items such as different food products, maybe some really fun Georgia-related snacks. You've got cheese straws, you've got popcorn and pretzels and beef jerky and pecans and all the things, all the way over to bath and body products. So maybe it's some locally made soaps or lotions, all the way over to home goods. So that's going to be maybe candles or kitchen towels, cutting boards. And our whole concept is that not only do we source these amazing locally made items, but we package those items up into phenomenal gift boxes, not gift baskets, but boxes. And we ship those gifts nationwide. So really, I designed the company close to 10 years ago. We'll actually hit our 10-year anniversary this coming September.
Congratulations.
And thank you. And designed Georgia Crafted really to give both individuals and companies a way to give a really good gift, but help support that local economy in the process. And that's it.
Man, that just warms my heart when you're taking small companies that very seldom get the exposure because we're dominated by the big companies, and you take Georgia companies, small companies, and you put them together to make a unique gift that allows people to say, and I know my grandkids, it's like, that pancake mix was so good, man. They just don't get those kind of things. I mean, I like Aunt Jemima, but that's the general stuff that everything gets thrown in, and it's, usually not as healthy as these small companies who put their heart and soul in their product.
That's right. Well, and the other thing, Pete, that I found early on, I used to, and I still do, but, I would go to farmers markets on the weekend. And when I was designing Georgia Crafted, one thing that I quickly recognized is that a lot of times these makers, they are very direct to consumer. So they're at a farmer's market and you come up to their table and that's their primary way of selling their product. So clearly, their market is so limited. So for us to be able to come in and say, hey, we'd like to order, X amount of bags of popcorn or X amount of boxes of cheese straws. And especially when we get to a point where we start partnering with companies who are looking to send employee appreciation gifts, client gifts, their volumes can end up going through the roof. And the best part is that they are gaining so much exposure to their product that they would not have gained otherwise.
That's so good because, yes, it is a matter of how many eyeballs see it, and they are limited through those farmers market and things that they can put on. And you do see the most credible products, but, it's by chance. And
that's really, right. Exactly.
So tell me, I personally like as having 2 sisters, 2 daughters, and 5 granddaughters. I'm partial towards girls. So you're a girl running a company. So what was the biggest challenge for you when you're plowing forward, trying to navigate through all the problems and all the things that have to do to get a company to 10 years. I mean, 10 years is like unheard of. You get to 2 years and it's usually, okay, that's about it. So how did you get to 10 years?
Well, I'd say the first thing would be from the support of my husband for helping support this venture. But, I think that for one, it's really part of it's just been having a good team, a great team that can put together, do all the order fulfillment. But if you back it up, I mean, my background, I did not have a business background. I mean, my whole entire career had been in marketing. I had worked for a marketing agency. I was a great relationship builder. I mean, I really and truly was more of a relationship builder than I was even a marketer.
Right.
But I found myself having this desire to really want to help promote, local businesses. And so when this whole concept started coming into play, I knew nothing about launching a business. So it was everything from trying to figure out how do you get a business license to how do you design a website to, oh my gosh, how do I get customers and still go to a full-time job, in the meantime. So it definitely took a little while, for this to get up and off the ground. And really and truly, the business model has changed, from day one, we were really more subscription based. Our whole Georgia Crafted's whole concept initially was that we were just a subscription box company where you could sign up for a membership and you could get a surprise gift box to your doorstep once a month or maybe once every few months or 6 months or whatever. And I had ended up having to move away from that because that was not sustainable, at least not being just in Georgia. So we really changed the whole model. So there's definitely been some bumps in the road and really trying to kind of pivot in different ways. Then, of course, flash forward, you had COVID come along, and that was, obviously initially in the early part of March when everything started happening, it was very scary to think, oh my gosh, first of all, I have a whole, at the time, basement, because I worked out of my house at the time, but a whole basement full of product. How are we going to get these out the door? And actually, COVID ended up being one of the best things that ever could have happened to our online business. Everybody moved to online.
Yep.
And so it was even great for the makers. But yeah, I would say number one, the support, of my family for sure. And then just, really kind of recognizing the trends and figuring out where do you need to change things? Where do you need to pivot? And just go with the flow too.
Yeah, I love when you said relationships because you are a relationship building person. I mean, I first time I met you or a couple of times, I don't even remember when it was, but it was probably at a chamber event or something.
I think it was, yeah.
And so I could tell, just the way you valued relationships. So when you say relationships, describe to our viewers what you mean. I mean, obviously,
absolutely.
In your words.
So I have to actually attribute this this skill, if you want to call it that. This was when I worked for a marketing agency. One of our core values that the owners of the company would always, really push on us was relationships. Mm-hmm. So I was really kind of groomed in a way to treat all of our clients as an extension of our company. And so when I started Georgia Crafted, that was just a natural thing for me. So my vendors, makers, they to me are an extension of our company. And so I could tell you stories about every single maker, a conversation that we've had. These aren't just people that I just randomly buy from and never meet. These are people I go and travel and see in person, or I have phone conversations with or whatever. And then the same goes for my clients. Like I look at it as, for one, everything that we do at Georgia Crafted is to help take something off of your plate. Gift giving is not easy. It's not necessarily fun either in a lot of ways. And so I always approach, especially our corporate gifting projects, as what can I do to help you? You have enough going on in your life. And that right there alone can help establish just a fantastic, rapport between myself and whoever it is that I'm working with at the company. But I value relationships. I think that that's the core of everything. You can't have a business without having relationships. Yes. You can't.
I totally agree with you. And well said, Erin. I mean, because, it's funny because I'm in a 55 and older active community. And I've always listened to podcasts, and I don't even watch TV really, or social media anymore. So I've really leaned on more podcasting, and it's led me down a couple paths. And one of them was, longevity. And I was listening to one the other day, and they said it's the longest study. It's like 90 years, and that study has been passed on to different people. But the one thing they said, the key to longevity was relationships. And, so you have people in our building, there's about 175 people or rooms, something like that. And some don't leave their room. They don't leave their room. And it's kind of heartbreaking because,
absolutely.
There's a percentage that meet every morning for breakfast, hang out, play bingo, play cards, play just all kinds of stuff. Just get together and enjoy relationships. And that's what really keeps people. And there was one study on this podcast. The guy said, "Oh, my aunt is 117 and she's in UK." And the guy said, "Wow, that's incredible. She's the oldest person in UK." So he said, "Well, what do you think the key to it?" And he said, "Well, obviously she has got good genes. But one thing that sticks out is she's always talking to her friends. She's always doing something with her friends."
That's awesome.
So, the relationships we have long term mean a lot to have the quality of our life and how we are able to look forward to things. So let's go back a little bit, because we talked the other day about when I called you about being on the podcast, and you said you had just gotten back from Phoenix and you had conquered a fear. I love it. I conquered a fear. I love that. So tell our viewers, what was the fear that you conquered?
So I have this, I'm deathly afraid of heights. And so a little backstory that my family loves to poke some fun at me about. A couple years back, we had an opportunity. I think we were up in the Helen, Georgia area, and they had one of those tree climbing ropes courses or something where, you're probably in reality, you're probably about 8 feet off the ground. And you've never seen someone more terrified to try to do this ropes course. I mean, I practically have tears streaming. So needless to say, I'm petrified of heights.
Right.
So about 4 weeks ago, I was gearing up for this trip out to Phoenix with my husband and looking at different adventures that we can do. We try to always do something really fun on our trips. And so I read about all these people doing hot air balloon rides across the Sonoran Desert right outside of Phoenix, about 30 minutes out. And I thought, oh, heck no, there's no way. I can't I can't even get 8 feet off the ground. I can't go on a ladder without, my hands shaking. And then all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute. So you're telling me that I might have an opportunity to get in a hot air balloon at sunrise, which I have this thing, I am obsessed with sunrises. And I can go across a desert, but I'm not going to do it because I'm scared of heights. Are you kidding me? Just think of the photo opportunities alone, and anybody who knows me knows that I love to get the shot whenever I'm looking for a photo. So needless to say, we got up at 3:00 in the morning. We had to be at the business location by, I think, 4:15 in the morning.
Right.
We got into a van with several other people. We drove 30 minutes out to the middle of the Sonoran Desert. And now, granted, it wasn't just us, which also I think, helped relieve a little bit of my anxiety, if you will. There were 11 hot air balloons that got blown up right then and there. And the next thing you know, I'm climbing into a basket with 15 other people, including the pilot. And all of a sudden, there we go. And there's no turning back then.
Not unless you have a parachute on. Yeah.
Nope, nothing. And I have to say, it was the most magical experience I have. I can't stop talking about it. I mean, for one, to be able to see the Arizona landscape from a hot air balloon at sunrise, mind you,
Yes.
is such a phenomenal opportunity. But then I'm up there and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm 4,000 feet in the air. And here I am, no big deal. It was awesome.
Wow.
It's smooth. It's so peaceful. I think
Mhm.
I expected it to be like an airplane where you're kind of bouncing around with the turbulence. There's nothing. It is the most peaceful experience that I think I probably have ever gone through. So
Wow.
I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Well, that's encouraging because I have a daughter in Phoenix and a
Okay.
son-in-law in Phoenix. They're moving at the end of July. So there's a couple months left. So what would you say to MH about should she make time to go on this? Or
Oh my
how could you encourage her?
Oh, Mage, you have to do it. I mean, you have to. I'm saying this is a once in a lifetime bucket list type of experience.
Right.
And for you to be able to like end your time in Phoenix by having a phenomenal view of that gorgeous landscape, there's literally nothing like it. I mean, you will remember that for the rest of your life. And I will say this too. The company that we went with, they do this 365 days a year,
Wow.
every single morning. And there's certain times of the year, not obviously in July,
Right.
but they will also do sunset rides. Obviously they can't because it's just too hot. But there's a good chunk of the year where they're doing 2 rides a day, and then the other times it's 1 ride a day in the morning. It is worth every bit of fatigue that you may have. Take a nap in the afternoon, take a break from packing.
Yeah.
Go do it. I'm telling you, you will not regret it in the slightest bit.
Oh, yes. I tell you, if I was hearing that, Mary Rachel, or as your sister calls you, Mage, that's a once in a lifetime bucket list that
It really is.
you will never regret it. And you'll go, wow, what on earth did I just say yes to? And it's great. Okay.
I think we did this 2 weeks ago. I'm just like,
Really?
oh, I'm still on cloud 9 from that experience.
Well, I saw the pictures and I
Yeah.
saw the video and I'm
Yeah.
going like, hey, we know they're good, but there's nothing like being in.
Oh, there's nothing like it. Yeah. Pictures
I'm
don't do
almost like I'm going to get on a plane and fly out there just to do it.
Right,
That's
exactly.
like crazy. Listen.
Oh, it's awesome.
So, okay, let's go back to a little bit. What is kind of one of your best stories with your clients on what people have said when they get their gift? Now, I can give you my testimony, but let's just, what about yourself? Like not yourself, but a client that was you were able to help, support, put some light on. Can you think of one maybe off the top of your head?
I mean, I cannot honestly think of one specific story. They all kind of flood together. I mean, at a certain point, it's there are just countless examples of how we have been able to come in and help, customers. And really, when I say that, it's both these individuals like yourself who are looking for a great gift, all the way over to companies who have either had bad experiences with gifting. We're a full service company. So you come to me and say you want gifts, I take it from there. It's, hey, what's your budget? What kind of products are you looking for? If you don't know, that's fine. I can gladly make recommendations for you. And I'd say 99.9% of the time we will receive emails from our, especially from our corporate clients saying we hit it out of the park in terms of the types of gifts that we were giving and the whole process. So I wish I had one specific story, but I don't. There's just so many of them.
That's understandable. I know when I looked, when I first got it, because I had forgotten about it, because everything you forget, but Laura Beth had sent me one at Christmas time. And I always look at the stories on products because I just get intrigued by what's the story behind a product. And so I'm reading these stories and I'm going, holy mackerel. There's nothing like Me Too gift in this. It's just, it's like a group of 15 stories bundled up into one. How does somebody not just love that? Because
Right.
we're all about stories, but
Yes.
you get to share your customers or clients or partnerships, how you describe them, with many people. And
Yep.
so I'm sure you got to be a hero like you were to me, to
Oh,
these
thank
people,
you.
because you're just giving them light in a world that it's crowded out there in this world. And try to get a shelf placement on Publix or a drugstore or something. Costs thousands and thousands of dollars to get your products placed on that.
Right.
But
Right.
there's the creativity that you have as far as bringing those products to people that would never have access to it is wonderful. And they're probably thinking, man, there's another way besides farmers market. Nothing wrong with farmers market, but there's only a few. We did one in Kennesaw, which of course and
Yeah.
they took a bus from here over to it. And so I asked them how it went, and they go, yeah, there was hardly anybody there, And so they make a big deal, but if you can't have vendors there and you can't have people to support the vendors, then you don't have a big farmers market. It just doesn't take so much to put those things together. But all they have to do, and I'm going to encourage our viewers to look in the show notes for Erin's information. We'll have links to everything and be able to have something totally unique, totally different. And if you're listening to us and you're in Georgia, then you got Georgia products. What's better than Georgia products? You probably have Pennsylvania products before long, but for right now, you got Georgia products through and through. And so you get to celebrate Georgia if you're doing business with Georgia Trend and Erin. So I have to ask you business books. I always love to hear what people are reading. What's one or two business books that you're reading either now or that you've read in the past that you could share with our viewers?
Absolutely. So really, honestly, anything by Grant Cardone, I love him.
Okay.
Like, I just think any of his books, any of the 10X style books, I'm more of an audio person than I am physical reader. But I also, actually, that's funny that this is a very random one. This was actually when I had a targeted Facebook ad, which I love those things sometimes because I swear they nail it every time. But this is a book called Sell Like Crazy. And it's how to get as many clients, customers, and sales as you can possibly handle. And it's by a gentleman named Sabri. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it.
I think I have heard about that. I don't
It's
know
awesome.
or seen it or something, but okay.
It is. So this is the one that I kind of keep tucked over and just will pick it up here and there.
Sure. Oh,
yeah.
That's awesome. So if there's a lady out there listening, how could you encourage our ladies to start businesses and get going with their entrepreneurship? What would you say to them?
Just do it. Like, I hate to sound like Nike, but just do it. It's it's so easy. And I still do this today. I have other ideas. I have other things that I want to get off the ground. And it's very easy to get into your own head as to why it won't work. What will people think? And it's funny because when I started Georgia Crafted, I had none of that noise in my head. It was, here's an idea. I know it's a good one and I'm going to do it. And if people don't like it, well, then they don't like it. But why wouldn't you like it? It's awesome.
I know. Yeah.
And so I have other concepts I sit here and I say all that and know that I'm sitting here struggling with getting some other things off the ground because of it. And then every day I'm like, just do it. Just do it. So
great advice.
You do. It's one step in front of the other.
I love it. I love it. And, being a mom, you have kid responsibilities. So we're going to have to wind it up because you got other things that you have to do. And we want to thank you for being a guest on our podcast, Erin.
My gosh, Pete, thank you so much for having me. This has been an honor.
And we thank you so much again. How can people get a hold of you?
Absolutely. So our website is going to be Georgia, just like the state, georgiacrafted.com. All you have to do is go to georgiacrafted.com. From there, you can literally choose curated, pre-themed gift boxes. You can build a gift box, but my contact information is on there. You can send us a message directly through the website. It'll come direct to me.
Okay.
My cell phone is on the website. You can call me, you can text me. We are on Facebook and Instagram and all the pages, and you can obviously easily reach us from there as well. So it's anyway, I always say call, text, email, Skywrite, you can find me.
Awesome. That sounds good. And we'll put everything in the show notes too. We try to make it easy for our viewers to get a hold of you. So thank you, Erin, so much. We appreciate your time. And we know that bigger things are coming because you've done a hot air balloon and you've crushed your fear.
That's right.
So that's awesome. All right. Thank you, Erin. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pete. I appreciate it.